Welcome to the Human Conversation podcast with Jules White, the real dragon slayer, author and entrepreneur sales coach. Tune in weekly for human conversation about business and sales. Enjoy business expert interviews, educational episodes, and virtual cuppers with entrepreneur business owners. So grab yourself a cuppa and enjoy. Here is your host, Jules White.
So welcome everybody to the Human Conversation. Oh my goodness, I am so excited about this conversation. So I have with me Christian Burns. He is an epic singer, songwriter, producer, teacher, and he's a northerner. That's kind of how he asked me to introduce himself. So how are you, Christian?
I'm good. I'm really great, Jules. Great to be here. And I'm talking to you from sunny Wigan, which is raining at the moment. But yeah, I'm great.
It's so lovely that we're doing this. We met literally days ago. It feels like I know you and I've known you for years. So that's really, really nice. And I just need to tell the listeners that we met on Clubhouse. Now, you know, everyone's talking about Clubhouse right now. So shall we just get that one out of the way?
Let's get the elephant in the room. Let's get it out of the way. And I actually went because I want to start my own podcast later on in the year. So I went in the podcast room and I said, I was like, hey, everyone, I'm Christian. And I'm looking to get on some podcasts. Where's the best place to go? And people were like, oh, I'll have you on my podcast. And I think you were there. And I was like, oh, right. Okay. So I just answered my own question there. Yeah, so that was where we met.
Yes, it was. So that's really interesting, isn't it? Clubhouse. So we won't talk about it for very, very long, but it's this new up and coming audio app, which is this new social media platform. Everybody's trying to get on there. Not everyone can, only if you've got an iPhone. So there's a big FOMO been created around it, which is really fascinating. And as I say, I wrote a blog yesterday literally about it. I feel actually that for you guys musically, I think Clubhouse is going to be amazing. What do you think?
I know, I agree. I think, you know, already, you know, I've been in there, and there's a lot of help on there for musicians. There's a lot of advice on there, and there's a lot of great people on there who are helping with, you know, problems. I mean, I've been on there helping people who get creators, you know, writer's block, and, you know, giving advice on lyric writing and stuff like that. So it's a really great place to kind of go and get some help, really, if you're at the beginning of your journey, or even if you're, you know, not at the beginning of your journey. It's just a great community, and I think it's going to be really big. I mean, I think the powerful thing about it is, you know, there's no video, there's no text, there's no photographs. It's just audio, you know. So I think it's a powerful platform, and I think it's exciting where this will go.
It's very exciting. And you and I have met because of Clubhouse, and that's the most important thing right now. So I want to talk about everything. However, we won't have time to do that. I want to start at the beginning. So look, I introduced you as a singer-songwriter and all the other bits. Ultimately, you have an amazing voice because I've been listening to your music. I love your music.
Thank you very much.
I do. It's super. Where did this start for you? Because there must be lots of people out there who love music. My son, for instance, wants to have a career in it. Where does it all start, Christian?
Well, I mean, for me personally, it started, my dad was a musician, my mum and dad, you know, so growing up, I was surrounded by music. You know, my dad was always playing guitar, rehearsing with his band in the house. And, you know, I was just surrounded by it. And all these great bands like ELO and the Beatles were a huge influence on me. And my dad actually was signed to Decca Records in the 60s, and he got signed. Dick Rowe it was the famous guy who turned down the Beatles and said, oh, no, these skiffle bands are over or whatever. So anyway, he signed my dad's band, and my dad actually ended up, he played the Cavern with the Beatles, you know, when the same opened up for the Beatles, and it was crazy, you know. And so it's just been in my kind of blood, I guess. And then I've always loved music, you know. I used to like the Eagles and the ELO and all these great bands. And then when I was 13, I started my first band at school with some friends, and you know, we used to play Beatles songs. So it was a continuation from that, really. And then I didn't really start taking it seriously till, like, I got, you know, I got a proper job, and I used to sell cars. I used to sell houses. I did door-to-door sales for a year and did stuff like that. I did all kinds of stuff. And then I met some guys, and we started having a band for it was like a hobby, really. You know, we were going to do something with it, and then we decided to say, you know, let's do something properly with this. Let's try and write some songs, and let's try and get a record deal. So I had this plan in my head, and the band was BBMAK, and you know, we went down to London, and we busked outside record companies, and you know, I went down with a briefcase, and I borrowed my dad's suit and his guitar, and we all went down to London, and we stayed on my mate's couch and on the floor and everything in his flat. And we went down, we busked outside record companies, and we were trying to get attention. We didn't have the internet then, we didn't have anything. So we just went around the record companies and busked, and we got moved by security from Virgin. The police came and moved us because we were like, you know, we were determined. And one record company let us through the door, said, "Hey guys, that was really good, actually, come in." And that was it. That was the beginning. You know, we started, to cut a long story short, you know, word got around that these three guys from up north were going around London busking. And there was a massive bidding war, and we ended up signing to Telstar Records back in 1998. Yeah, we got licensed out to Hollywood Records, which is Disney, basically. And then, you know, we went on to, you know, record our first album in America, you know, with Rob Cavallo, amazing producer who's done, you know, the Goo Goo Dolls and, you know, My Chemical Romance and the Green Day. And he produced the album with us that we wrote, and we went on to have a, you know, #1 song for 12 weeks in America. We sold over 3 million albums, and yeah, that was it. This was like, you know, and the 2000s, you know, around that time. So I've been doing it a long time, you know, and I feel blessed to be doing something I love every single day. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. You know, there's been some hard times, some good times, but you know, ultimately, I'm here now, and I get up every day. I make music. You know, or I'm teaching music, and it's just my passion, you know. So I feel lucky that I get to do what I love every day.
I think I can totally hear how passionate you are about it, which is so lovely. I think you're right in that, you know, it is absolutely not easy. I'm not sure what really is easy in life, if we're really, really honest, but the music journey is really not an easy one. And back when you were starting, as you say, you were having to pitch to record labels. You know, you couldn't just stick your iPhone on and pitch up on TikTok, could you, Christian? You know?
No, there weren't any streaming services or like DistroKid or Spotify or anything like this. It was like the only way you could get your music out was by getting a record deal, and the only way you could record music was to go in a proper studio. You know, they didn't have home studios and, you know, laptops with, you know, Logic Pro and all. It was nothing. So no. it was different time, different world, you know.
Very different. And I guess it would be really nice to explore that with you, as to how you feel young musicians or new musicians now, you know, what's that difference in terms of what you went through as a journey and what they can now do, pros and cons?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely pros and cons. I mean, you know, one thing that you have got now is social media and the power of social media. You know, that's the window to the world. You know, you can actually cut out, you know, PR people. They can cut out radio stations and TV shows. You know, the only way to get your message out or your song out back then was to be featuring in big magazines, be on Top of the Pops, you know, be doing this TV show. But now, you know, you can do like things on social media and you can reach millions of people, you know. So it's very exciting time, actually. And I think even more so in the past couple of years, there's been advances and there's things you can do now to kind of give yourself the chance to be heard, you know. And I am a big believer that if you've got great stuff, you know, the cream does rise to the top. I mean, you can't just release something and put it out and go, that's great, people will come. No. But you can get it out to people. You can push it, you know, and doing things like this and, you know, podcasts and, you know, all kinds of, you know, social media campaigns and content and being consistent with your content, YouTube channels. There's so much you can do. And there's so much content you can create. It's easier to make a music video now. You don't have to have a crew with a helicopter, and you know, you can get for iPhone. I've done music videos in the past few years. I've done music videos on an iPhone with a gimbal. You know what I mean? So it's incredible the amount of ways you can express yourself creatively now, as well as, you know, with technology. But I think it's a very different time, but it's a very exciting time. You know, it's a very exciting time. I think there's a lot of changes need to be done to the royalty payments that, you know, streaming services pay artists. It's not fair. And that side of the industry is a little bit broken, but people are making a lot of noise in Parliament now and stuff. So I'm sure, you know, in the coming near future that things will change. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a very exciting time to be into music. And then the one thing is, you know, when I started, there wasn't any YouTube. There wasn't anything. There was no knowledge. So you didn't know how to record, so you couldn't do it. Now there's software, and there's courses online, there's tutorials on YouTube, free stuff even on YouTube. You can go and figure out how to write a song, or what, you know, there's all kinds of options and support for artists. So it is an exciting time, you know. It
is, but I think you know, what comes with that is the fact that it's saturated then, because more people can, as you say, more people can be there, but the cream rises to the top. And I like that you said that.
There is a lot of noise, Jules, absolutely. But there are things you can do to make yourself stand out from the crowd, you know, and there's things that, you know, you don't just want to, it's no good writing this thing and then going on once a week with a picture of you sat on a wall looking like this on your social media. It's not going to be engaging enough. You know, people need to be on there, and people need to get into your personality, you know, and if you use social media in the right way, it does work, you know. People like people, you know, and we all love that human connection, no pun intended. So it's all about doing it properly and doing social media properly and everything else properly, and it does work. So yeah, I think, you know, people get overwhelmed with social media. There is a lot of people out on there, you know, everyone's trying to do the latest TikTok dance and all that. But apart from all these novelty things, I think just actually just talking to people on social media and being yourself and being your authentic self, like Clubhouse. You know, the Clubhouse is so powerful because there is no filters on your face, and there is no this, and, you know, it's just all about the voice, and there's nowhere to hide, you know, it's just the real you. There's no scripts, you know, it's just being yourself, being your vulnerable self at times, but being authentic, and people will connect with you, you know, people will. So I think, you know, it's overwhelming the amount of people out there are on social media. I'm releasing songs, you know, but I think, again, I go back to just doing it correctly and having the right strategy, really, to get people's attention.
Very, very good advice. So I want to talk about you. I want to talk about your music. So why did you choose the genre of music that you are involved in? And actually, what is that? Tell us about that, Christian.
Well, I you know, BBMAK is a pop, you know, it's pop music. And I've been doing that since 2000, you know, till 97. And we took a break, like 2003, you know, we took a break. We were so exhausted mentally and physically. We were, you know, it was really hard. And we took a break for a few years. And then I was writing away and trying to rediscover my sound and what I wanted to do moving forward. And I was doing this kind of rock songs with synthesizers, a bit like the Killers kind of stuff, you know, and I was just messing around with this different experiments. And I put some songs on MySpace when MySpace first came out, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And a DJ called Tiësto, who is one of the biggest DJs in the world.
Yes.
He contacted me himself on MySpace and texted me and said, hey, Christian, I like your song you've got on your MySpace. Can I use it for my album? And I was like, no, it's mine for my album. And I was like, no way, mate. It's a bit cheeky. And I was like, right, okay. So I left that, and then I got something through the door, and it was a DVD from Tiësto's record company, and it was a Tiësto DVD in concert. And I put it on, and it was like, oh wow, he's quite big, isn't he? And it was like him in a stadium in this DJ booth, and I've never seen anything like it as far as an electronic a DJ with, you know, 50,000 people in an arena. I was like, wow, this guy is the real deal. So I got back in touch with him. Funnily enough, I said, hey mate, it's Christian again. So listen, this is what I'll do. I'm not going to give you that song because it is mine and it's for my album, But what I will do, I'll write a song with you. Because I think it's amazing what you're doing. And I'll write a song with you for your album. And he said, great. So we wrote a song called In the Dark. And, you know, since then, I mean, that song went on to be #1 in many countries. And it opened up the doors to me in the electronic dance community in the world. And, you know, I went on then to work with, you know, some of the biggest names, you know, like, you know, Armin van Buuren, Benny Benassi, Paul Oakenfold. I mean, I've worked with Chicane and, I mean, so many to list, but it opened the doors to me, and I've had a lot of success doing, you know, trance. There was a lot of trance music, but now I've kind of progressed, and my sound is, maybe it's because I'm getting older, it's mellowing out a little bit, and it's kind of, I'm going into more of the deep house kind of genre now. So the new stuff I've got and the new album I've got coming is a little bit more Ibiza chill vibe. It's still got a nice beat to it, but it's a little bit more calm. But it's like I feel like I finally found my sound, you know, because it's took me years to get there. But I'm writing these songs now, and I'm in love with these songs, and I just feel like I've got so much more of that to share now. So I've got an album coming out. We've not set a release date yet, but I think it's going to be sometime in this first quarter. So probably end of March, say. April time, and it's called Love Songs from Suburbia. And you know, I've released a few songs from it. So there's a song called Alive, there's a song called Truth, and I've got a new song coming out in a month called Tigers. And yeah, I just feel I've found something magical here, with combination of the instruments and my vocal treatments. So I've been playing around with that, and yeah, and I'm excited to share it to the world. I'm getting great reaction to it as well, which is really nice, to put something out and then people are really connecting with it. So yeah.
I love it. I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm following you now. It's absolutely my type of music. I'm a bit older than you, but I think that we sort of come from a similar kind of time, if you like. And for me, my first trip to Ibiza was when I was about 45, would you believe? You know, I left it that long, but I stayed at Ushuaia, which you'll know,
Yeah.
and I just had the most fabulous time, not because I got drunk or any of those other things, but actually because of the music. That was what was magic for me about Ibiza. And so I totally resonate with what you've just talked about.
Yeah. No, I love Ibiza. You know, I've been there, performed there many times, but I've stayed at Ushuaia. I made the mistake actually of staying there for 12 nights in Ushuaia, and after it was like a week, I was literally on the balcony, and they were going, "Shut up!" And there was a party every night, and I was like, it got too much for me in the end. I was like, I shouldn't have stayed here for 12 nights to my friend Christian, but I did. But you live and you learn. But yeah, Ibiza, you know, I hold it close to my heart. It's an amazing place, and yeah, I can't wait until we can all travel again and go and do stuff like that. That's on the top of my list. I'm going to be in Ibiza. Yeah, I'm going to go back there just to chill out and
totally. I agree. So you've obviously told us lovely stories about the whole journey, where it started, about your dad. I lost my dad in 2015, and so you know, he was my absolute hero and rock. And so anyone who talks about dads always makes me feel a little bit nice, you know. So it's really lovely you had that musical connection. You're still writing, you're still producing music. Amazing. Do you think you will just produce music till you can't, basically?
Absolutely. I'm never retiring. It's funny because I taught my dad over the past 10 years how to use Logic, and now my dad's 75 now. He uses Logic, and I was on a Zoom with him the other day. We were doing songwriting lessons, and I was teaching him about some other new plugins and reverbs. So my dad is killing it. He's like producing his own albums. He's like putting stuff out, and it's amazing. So, you know, I will never stop, because it's not a job for me. Do you know what I mean? That's why I feel so lucky, you know. People say, you know, find a job that you love doing, and you'll never have to work a day again. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not work for me. I love it. So I will definitely be writing music and recording music till you
can't anymore.
Yeah.
I love that. We talked about the teacher bit, and I just want to bring that in a bit, Christian, to the conversation, because I want to know more about what that is. What does that look like? So if you're coming into that space, tell us about that.
Yeah, well, it's something new for me, and I launched something in December last year, and it's called Record Ready Vocals, and basically it's a course it's an online course that teaches people. It's to empower artists, really, because it's something I know a lot of people are stuck at home, and musicians have always relied on, oh, I've got to go to this studio and hire this studio, go to the studio and record my vocals and then send it off to this producer, or I've got to use this guy and he comes round to mine and he helps record it and then he edits it and he tunes my vocals and does all this. And people can't get out at the moment. People can't get to studios. And it started off, I was teaching some of the guys out of my band like how to do vocals, like, because we couldn't get together. And I just thought more of it. I thought there's something more in this. So anyway, I put this whole course together, and it's to empower artists to take control of your career and be able to produce your own vocals to an absolute professional standard where you can release them on a record, hence Record Ready.
Yeah.
So, I started it, and I've just been blown away because it took me so long, and it's literally 20 years of knowledge that all these amazing producers like Rob Cavallo and, Alan Sides and all these amazing producers and engineers I've worked with over the past 20 years. And when I used to go in the studio, I would sit there and watch them and I'd make notes. I was lucky because I thought I need to make the most of this opportunity. So it's all that knowledge and plus my own methods and tricks that I've put into an online course. It's 42 lessons about vocal production from start to finish. So I go through like mic choice and how to set up, because the thing is as well, I've had to set up recording booths and studios on the road, on buses, in hotel rooms. I'd be like, well, Christian, we need this vocal. I'm like, well, I can't get to my studio. I'm in Japan at the moment, but I've got a duvet here and I've got a couple of mic stands and I'm going to make a little tent in my hotel room and put this mattress up against the wall and I'm going to record. This is stuff I've actually done. So it's all that kind of stuff, really. And it's really, it's amazing because you don't have to have a studio. So it helps you just do the whole thing from start to finish. And I've just moved, the course is closed at the moment because I've took my first students through and I wanted to make sure they're incubated through the course properly and they understand everything. And I'm at the point now I'm just getting the testimonials off them. Yeah. And I'm like getting emotional because it's a lot of work for me. But to seeing that it actually works and the results I'm getting and they're getting is incredible. And I realized the feeling I'm getting when they're like overjoyed and like, Christian, this has changed everything and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's the same feeling I would get on stage performing in front of 50,000 people. It's the same buzz and I've been missing it because of lockdown. So it's really, really lit a fire inside me, and it's amazing. So I'm getting to help a lot of artists. I'm working on my second one, which is Record Ready Songs at the moment, which is a songwriting one. And it's just a whole new area I've moved in. It's entrepreneurial kind of sector I've moved into because I'm doing this myself. And, even the website and everything, I've done everything myself and it's been a monumental task, but it's been so rewarding for me. So I'm just really excited to take this even further now. And I've got some really amazing plans for this year. And me and my good friend, Brian Transo, BT, who's like one of the godfathers of trance.
I follow
BT,
him
not
now.
British Telecom.
No, I follow him now on Instagram, and he's fabulous.
Well, he's one of my dearest and closest friends, and we have a band together called All Hail the Silence as well. And we released our first album in 2019, and we're working on something really special to help a lot of electronic musicians this year as well. So more about that, in the coming months, but. It's been so great for me, it's given me something to really focus on while I'm in lockdown. So I'm not going crazy, and it's just great to feel that I'm helping these musicians and giving them the skill set that will last them a lifetime,
It's an amazing feeling in that space, because it's what I do in sales is just support and help people to see how they can do things, and that when that feedback comes, Christian, it's like nothing else, is it? You know
what, Jules, I did not expect it. I didn't expect it. I thought, oh, I'll enjoy that part of it if I get good results. But I was also like, oh, I hope people get results. You know, I didn't know. I've just built this course. I thought I put my system down and my methods, and it works for me. And I take things for granted. I've been doing it a long time. I take things for granted, but people have been getting amazing results. And I'm like, I didn't expect that feeling it gave me. And it's just really spurred me on to do more and more of it now.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, you know, I do the music as well. And then I'm teaching the music, and it's all my passion, you know, it's all the same thing. So
yeah,
it's win-win for me.
It's brilliant. Because there's nothing like being taught by people who have walked the walk, Christian. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So I love all of this stuff you're talking about. It's so cool. I'm going to make sure all the links are in this podcast as well, so everybody can connect with you in every way that you want, you know, so don't worry about
that. Oh, fantastic. Well. That's great. Thank you.
So I want to just kind of, I suppose I want to bring the conversation to a close. Well, actually, I don't want to do that, Christian. I want to talk to you all day. But I kind of want to just bring it to a really nice place as we end our conversation for the podcast. But I'm curious as to, you songwrite and you sing. Do you actually play any instruments as well, Christian?
Yes, I do. I've played guitar for 30 odd years. That was my instrument. So I play guitar. But the funny thing is now I write 99% of my songs on the piano, and I can't play the piano. So work that one out.
But you and I have had a conversation about my son. Sorry to mention him again, but he's the same. You know, he has never had a piano lesson and yet plays the piano beautifully, you know. How does that even happen?
I know. I mean, I think Sam really plays the piano proper. I think he's really great as well, you know. But I found tools and software that I can help express myself. And it's not cheating because I still have to pick the chords, but it's just an extension of my expression. Yeah. And I could talk about this for hours and how AI is going to change the whole creative process, and not to be like it's us against them. Think of AI as the best co-writer you've ever had in your life. And we could have another 10-hour conversation. Me, you and BT could talk about this.
Well, you know, maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should do another podcast episode with BT so that we can talk about that, because I think that's so fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And the thing is, you know, everyone's got Alexa in the homes now. You know, everyone's got AI, and no one really realizes how far they are ahead with the technology, you know, but it's coming. In fact, it's here. So, you know, I do a whole section on my course, Record Ready Songs, about using AI as a co-writer. It's not you press one button and it writes a song for you. Not at all. It still needs that human connection. It's incredible. And I've found ways to express myself, because I've been playing guitar for 35 years. I'd like to say, I am a great guitarist, you know, but I found other ways to express myself. And I really feel strongly that when I'm writing a song, having a keyboard and a piano, you know, a MIDI interface on the computer, you know, I can change that instrument sound, just press a button, change the sound of the instrument. And that is inspiring to me. That ignites inspiration. Yeah. It can change the whole mood of the song I'm writing. So to be able to use that as an extension of my expression is powerful stuff. And, you know, I just love music, and I love music technology. You know, I'm just obsessed with it. Bit of a geek like that. But you know, there's lots of things, and I think I just want to open people's minds up to other ways of using technology as a massive bonus, as a massive extension of skill sets. The same way we can all speak every language in the world now using Google Translate. Yeah. You know, it's the same kind of thing. You know, don't be scared of the robots. Be friends with the robots. Yeah,
I love that. That's a great message, isn't it? And you know, we're all so different. There's this BBMAK campaign that they ran where they said there are 7 billion types of normal on the planet. How amazing is that phrase when you start to think about how unique we all are as individuals? This is that big thing I always talk about, Christian. And it's the same with music. Everybody will listen to music in a slightly different way. They'll hear different things. They'll feel different emotions. And the AI aspect you've just mentioned is just enhancing every element of how we connect, isn't it? Don't you think?
No, absolutely. Spot on. It's weaved into more software and websites and services that you actually realize. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, Alexa being the perfect example. And it's only getting better and better. We're going to see this hockey stick effect happening as more supercomputers are being invented now, and they're being used technology is advancing at a really, really fast rate. So I think, we're not far away from flying cars and all that stuff. Elon Musk sending all his satellites up into the sky, and there's stuff going on, and I think it's exciting.
It is exciting,
and
really.
we just got to see where it goes.
We have. So just to finish, because I always have a little bit where I kind of want to leave the listener with your final thoughts and words and inspiration. There'll be people listening who love music. There'll be people listening like me who have got maybe children who want to go into music careers. There may be people like me who even want to start singing because they've been singing all their life and they've never been able to do it. Can you imagine all the types of people who have listened to us chatting? What is your final words and inspiration for them, Christian?
I would say, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. And if you have that urge, do it, because there are tools, there's knowledge out there that can make it very easy for you to do whatever you want to do, in music, and just, be open to learning, and just go for it. I would say, I never want to be one of those people who's like, oh, I should have done this, I wanted to do that. Just do it. It's a new time we're living in, and it's a time of opportunity. So I think if you are thinking about doing something in music, just go for it,
Thank you. And that's the door.
And that's the doorbell. The timing is perfect.
Christian, thank you for chatting. I knew I would love chatting to you. I absolutely knew I would. And I know we'll do a second episode, if you will, because
anytime, let me know.
Fantastic.
It's been Jules, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
honestly.
Thank you so much. And we will put all your links in. And listeners, wow, what an amazing episode with fabulous Christian. And you know what? This is the real stuff. This is a human conversation. This is what it's about. If you love music, you have to follow this guy. And if you've got anyone who wants to learn more about music, I think this is also the place to come to speak to Christian. So thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe on the platform you listen to. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and you can see our beautiful faces on YouTube, because this is also recorded for there. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time on The Human Conversation. Ta-ta for now.
You've just been listening to the Human Conversation podcast with Jules White. To find out more about the other work that Jules does, please visit her website, www.liveitloveitsellit.co.uk. And if you enjoyed the podcast, then please do leave a rating and review on the platform you use to enjoy her show. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.